Tales, Frontiers in Flight.
I'm so excited to visit Grandpa. Did Grandpa really fly planes in World War II?
He did, in fact. His grandfathers were the 9th Squadron, the Red Tails. Because of their success as pilots in World War II, the Red Tails proved that blacks are just as capable as whites. And they helped in the civil rights frontier of desegregating the military on basis that racism has no place in our society.
Grandpa!
Come on in, buddy.
Bye, buddy.
Come here, buddy. I've got a gift for you. This is a P-51 model Mustang plane, just like the one I flew in World War II.
Wow, I don't want to fly a plane like that.
Well, lucky for you, now you can, if you want to. In 1941, blacks were not allowed to fly planes in the military. We were limited to simple jobs like janitors, cooks, and mechanics. We did not do any technical jobs. Here, read this old War Department study from 1925.
An opinion held in common by practically all officers is that the Negro is a rank coward in the dark, a subspecies of the human family, and has a mentally inferior nature. His fear of the unknown and unseen will prevent him from ever operating as a pilot with success. Now is not the time for critical experiments. It will lead to trouble. So, how did you ever get to fly a plane in World War II if they didn't think you were smart and brave enough to fly?
Well, it all started when there was a lawsuit filed against the War Department, and they announced that blacks would be trained as pilots in the Army as part of an experiment to prove that blacks are not as capable as whites. Here, let's watch this recording of Franklin D. Roosevelt. He promised to allow blacks to fly.
January 16, 1941, the War Department would like to announce the formation of a new unit, the 99th Pursuit Squadron, and federally funded civilian pilot training program. This segregated unit will receive training from 11 white officers of the Tuskegee Institute in Tuskegee, Alabama. We will promote Benjamin O. Davis Sr. to be the first black general in the U.S. Army and to preside over these black officers. This will be an experiment to determine whether or not the black man has the intelligence to fly a plane.
So black getting to fly a plane was just an experiment? It was up to you to prove the military wrong? Wow, you did play a big part in the frontier of civil rights.
That's right. The Red Tails were flying in uncharted territory. We started as an experiment, a segregated experiment that they thought was fair. It was a step in the right direction. At the time, I was the Tuskegee Institute Chief Instructor Pilot. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Chief Anderson, she's here, the First Lady, Eleanor Roosevelt. She wants to go in the air.
You mean the President of the United States' wife wants to fly with a black man? That would be a first. What will the press say about this?
Mrs. Roosevelt is part of the press. She has her own radio show and newspaper column. She's going to write a story about her trip to the airfield here in Tuskegee.
That's right, and it looks like you are in full swing. I've always heard that blacks can fly, and wondered if you wouldn't mind taking me up, Chief Charles Anderson, and on the whole world to see. Let's take a picture in the cockpit of your plane.
You got it, man.
You think we should be flying with this man? Is that even allowed?
Nonsense. When I put my mind to something, there's no changing it.
Flash!
Well, you can fly, right? Your skill and our flow will prove that. I'm going to make sure that your airfield here in Tuskegee will be fully funded. December 7th, 1941, 9 months after my fight with Chief, the United States was bombed at Pearl Harbor and joined the war. The U.S. military only had 1.5 million soldiers, and they needed 6 times that number. Women and minorities were called upon to contribute to the cause like never before, and many of the battles were fought in the air if they could make it through training.
Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up
and fly right.
Straighten up and fly right. Cool down, Papa, don't you blow your top.
Gotta keep each other in check and stay sharp.
The odds are definitely against you. You've got to perform nearly perfectly just to receive a satisfactory rating.
Anything less would be the demise of our unit. I thought I was going to have an error up there when I did that loop and slow roll.
You barely pulled out of it. 3 pink slips and you're out of the flight program.
That's right. This training's like a washing machine. If you're not perfectly washed, right out.
How long do you think we'll be training for? The war's been raging for over a year and a half. And I'm wondering if we're ever going to see action overseas. Why did we sign up for this again?
Same reason us blacks did. We're fighting a double war here.
That's right, Fanny. If we can win the fight against the Axis powers in the war, it'll help contribute to the frontiers in the fight against racism.
We
want to fight for our country.
America's fighting a war against racism in the other countries, yet they're ignoring its own problems with racism.
At least least we've got each other. Racial discrimination never stopped me from achieving my goals as an American. And we want the same quality training and standards as white pilots at other bases. We like your standards just as high.
And I'll do all I can on this here ground to see that you pilots all succeed in the air.
Couldn't do it without you, Franny. You can fix any plane. For every pilot in the air, it takes 10 more people on the ground.
It's only a matter of time before we fly in this war. I refuse to give up.
That's right. Every day more squadrons are formed as pilots complete their advanced pilot training. Starting with you, Commander Davis, you and the other 4 cadets were the first to complete advanced pilot training.
And I'll be next to complete my training and become a second lieutenant. I'll be another pilot to prove that our experiment will succeed. And I will help desegregate the Army, and then America.
Finally, on April 15th, 1943, the orders came for the 99th Squadron to join the war.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Black pilots joined the war. Their first mission to North Africa. But will they stay in the war? Will black pilots be able to fly planes in combat, or will they be shipped back to the States?
All black papers, you read the Pittsburgh Courier, our own colors in the air, flying the P-51 Mustang, standing out with the signature, red painted tell, join our public campaign as we work to integrate armed forces. Blacks pay taxes to the armed forces, yet they deny us the equal opportunity to serve. A Jim Crow army cannot fight for a free world.
Listen up, pilots. If we want to succeed in this frontier to prove we are equal pilots, you must follow my orders exactly. Our squadron will become the 332nd Squadron. We will demonstrate our efficiency and provide fighter escort to B-17 and B-24 heavy bombers. We will now have more opportunity to engage the enemy. Our mission is for the bombers to succeed. I want you to stay close to those bombers. I don't want you flying after enemy fighter planes trying to become an ace, getting kills for yourself. We will protect those bombers so they will have a successful mission.
Extra, extra, read the Times. White generals say that black pilots will not stay in the war for long. They lack aggressiveness. Studies show that white pilots shoot down significantly more planes than blacks. And we do not want to see black lieutenants serving over our white enlisted men.
The Chicago Defender, 1944. Red Tails are deployed to Italy. They proved themselves in the war with their excellent training and successful combat missions. We are fighting segregation by achievement. Our own Red Tails hit an Italian destroyer. Read all about it.
So what do you think, buddy? Do you like my story?
Like it? I loved it. You blazed new trails and broke barriers to help desegregate the Army. And now I can fly a plane just like you, Grandpa.
That's right. It took a long time for the military to become desegregated, and we had to be patient, but the Red Tails were a very important part in that frontier.
Look, this picture is taken long after the war is proof of how much things have changed in race relations. This is a picture of a white Bronco's with a black Tuskegee Airman. Okay, son, it's time to go. Say thank you to Grandpa.
Thanks.
When the Red Tails came home at the end of the war in 1948, they expected to find a country that was free of all segregation. During the war, many of the white bomber crews requested the Red Tails to fly through escorts because of their excellent records. Despite what the white papers reported, blacks knew that they had made a difference in the war.
Blacks were disappointed when they returned home from the war to find 2 separate lines to get off the boat, one for blacks and one for whites. They were expecting to be applauded for their heroics and bravery, but segregation still had not died yet. It took 3 more years after the war, in 1948, when President Truman issued an executive order calling for equality of treatment and opportunity.
The experiment in Frontier was a great success. Their impressive performance earned them more than 150 Distinguished Flying Crosses, 744 Air Medals, 8 Purple Hearts, and 14 Bronze Stars. The Red Tails flew 200 escort missions and only lost 27 bombers, while the average loss was 46. But more than that, the brave flyers had proved themselves in combat.
The Red Tails fueled the frontier of a story of Americans who happened to be black, as they fought the enemy abroad and the racial injustice at home. Their goal was a double victory, a victory that we benefit from today.
The frontier continues.